there are some things that every rational human being just outright accepts, right? Like the sky is blue, you don't eat yellow snow, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. But in the anime world, there are other things people accept, right? One of those being that Isekai is universally shit. And I don't care if you're like a seasoned war veteran or if you're just a newbie Attack on Titan watching motherfucker. Isekai is shit. And everybody accepts this. If you don't know, Isekai, it means other world in Japanese. And it's basically code for this entire subgenre of anime where there'll be a normal ass dude living in normal ass Japan. He'll get hit by a bus, or he'll have a heart attack and die, or maybe he'll just have a spiritual fucking awakening. Whatever the case may be, he gets transported to this other world. And if you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like Alice in Wonderland or Wizard of Oz or fucking Narnia. You're absolutely right, it does, because the West has been on this shit for literally decades. But anime, they've had to pick this up, they've had to hump it back to life, and it needs to stop. There are all kinds of crazy titles like Rising in the Shield Hero, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The hero and his elf bride open a pizza parlor in another world. Like, that's a real anime, and that's not even that crazy of a title for Isekai. The problem in Isekai really lies behind the fact that for something as crazy as going to another world, most Isekai tend to fall into a repetitive just stroke of going through the motions to the point that it's really uninteresting and boring, even though the original premise has some legs, I'd say, right? You know, there's always the first episode showing how shit the main protagonist's life is in the real world. He gets hit by a bus or whatever happens to him. He gets transported to the fantasy world. And it's really just like a massive power trip for the viewers. Because, you know, let's be honest, a lot of anime watchers they're probably not just knocking it out of the park in the real world, like myself included, right? And they see this guy who goes to this other world and they're like, holy shit, the gamer is winning, you know, because fantasy world is like he goes to fucking Dark Souls and he's mastered all the combos or whatever. And that just takes all the joy out of it for me. In fact, the only Isekai I've ever watched and enjoyed have been parody Isekai. Like Eminence in Shadow and Uncle from Another World are great examples that just spoof the genre. However, I'm ashamed to admit I was sitting around at home, I didn't really have anything to watch, and I noticed the latest season of Mushoku Tensei was out on Crunchyroll. And Mushoku Tensei, if you don't know, is probably the most, just when you think of Isekai, you think of Mushoku Tensei, right? And I was finished with Jujutsu Kaisen 2. I was basically out of content, because most of my content in the last 3 months have been Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, let's be real. And I kind of liked Mushoku Tensei. I started watching it, and I didn't hate it. And I was like, what the fuck? Is what I believe about anime fundamentally wrong, that Isekai is shit? When I first started watching Mushoku Tensei, I felt myself beginning to get pissed off because I could see the emotions were kind of being carried out. Like the main character, Rudius, he dies, he gets reincarnated as a baby, and he has all this, you know, stupid video game knowledge of like fantasy worlds, like, ooh, you know, I can see where it's going. But as the story progresses, they make all the character interactions with Rudius actually mean something. And they're a little bit played for gags and whatever, but at the same time, there's something deeper going on. And you can tell that the author is actually invested in a character-driven story. So, for instance, right, Rudius's dad cheats on his mom with the housekeeper, and I mean, it's kind of played for gags, and there's a little bit of fan service, but after it's all said and done, there's real character tension in this family. Or, you know, Rudius, he sees his best friend naked in the bath, and at first, you know, it's like, ha ha ha, fan service. But it actually has, like, lasting implications on Rudius, like, in his character. So, yes, there's kind of the Isekai, like, shitty, fan service-y driven generic story points, but they impact Rudeus as a character, and the author goes to lengths to show you that. None of these character things are ever forgotten, and they just kind of are carried out throughout the story, and you'll forget that things happen, and then they'll come back and you'll be like, oh yeah, that was something that happened back in season 1 or whatever. And on top of just immaculate character writing, the scope of the show is incredible. Like, it starts off, you know, with, I'd say, your stereotypical Isekai shit where your main character is just growing up. And I don't want to spoil the story here, but basically Rudeus gets sent away to another continent. And he basically has to fend for himself, and it becomes this coming of age drama. Fast forward another couple of episodes, and he's been accepted into this school where it basically becomes a school mystery anime. You know, it's just the amount of like genre hopping they do, it's really incredible. And it's a good show. And I can't believe I'm on here. Look guys, I've spent most of my anime career believing Mushoku Tensei was a shit anime. But, you know, I'm here today. I watched Mushoku Tensei, and it's pretty good. And, you know, I can't believe I'm videoing myself, posting this to the internet, saying that Isekai is good, but Mushoku Tensei is pretty stinking good. Just check it out, guys. Promise me, I promise you, you won't regret it. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please give me a like and a subscribe, and, you know, comment and let me know what you think. Do you think I'm crazy? Is Mushoku Tensei good? I don't know. Let me know. And, you know, if you subscribe, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. Bye-bye.